Government to assist families affected by recent boulder slippage in St. John. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Friday, January 8th, 2021, I am Rakisha St. Louis. Parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. John, Honorable Alvin Dabrio, says government will provide the necessary support and assistance to the families affected by Thursday's boulder slippage at Aguava Estate. On Thursday, the MP, along with an assessment team from the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA, paid a visit to the families and evaluated the site from where the boulder dislodged. Minister Dabrio said government will assist in relocating the families to a safer location and provide housing assistance through the Ministry of Social Development.
They were for renting. So with one, I spoke to one of the residents, and we would help them at least to be able to get some housing assistance from the Ministry of Social Affairs. And the other family, they were just interested in seeing if they could get a spot so that they could put up their own house. And I told them I'd work with them to see how we could get this some assistance in that regard. We just have to help them to relocate because it would not be safe to live in there until they do some structural repairs to that house.
According to the parliamentary representative, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development will further assess the area, as it was discovered that two other large stones have shifted from their original positions. Although they pose no immediate threat, he said an engineer will visit the site to propose the best solution to prevent a reoccurrence.
One we noticed, okay, so at the top there is two other stones that came down with the big one, but they're not in any immediate threat of coming down. One was stopped by a tree, and the other one went in where the soil was soft. And at the top of the hill, from what I could see, there was no immediate danger, but I'm sure the Ministry of Works would send an engineer to access the area at the top there. But from the visual inspection, everything looks good. I spoke to the people around, and there is no panic. Everybody seems to have settled down. The other two stones that are up there, I think that those could be blasted on site because it would be difficult to send them down the hill. But there are the systems in which you could blast it without explosives. So I think that would be the answer for the other two.
Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell hints that the possibilities are high that he will contest the next general elections, which are constitutionally due in 2023. He made the announcement during a special interview with members of the media on Thursday. Dr. Mitchell's political career began in the 1980s. He became Prime Minister from 1995 to 2008, then again in 2013 to present, making his ruling New National Party the only political party to obtain landslide victories. In recent years, talk has surfaced over his political career, as many are curious as to when he will hand over the baton to a new leader. On Thursday, Dr. Mitchell said his retirement was discussed with his cabinet colleagues. However, once he is in good health, when the time comes around, he will represent his constituents.
The decision has been made. I would have preferred not to have. I think there are rationale based on my own colleagues' views and general perception, and this might be the right time after the next election to hand over the reins to someone. So it looks likely, highly likely, that I will certainly run, unless, of course, I have some health issues or physical problems. And I'm sure you recognize that I don't look too badly.
The Grenadian leader holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Mathematics and Chemistry from the University of the West Indies, a Master's degree from Howard University, and a doctorate in Mathematics and Statistics from the American University. Continuing the news, the General Hospital has received a donation of equipment procured by the Ministry of Health, which will be distributed among the various departments. It includes nebulizers, infusion pumps, syringe pumps, among other equipment, which will contribute to the effective delivery of duties among staff.
The equipment we received recently, they are for General Hospital. They are equipment for the surgical department, for urology department, peds urology, ophthalmology. These equipment are really needed by the staff of the hospital, and is equipment welcomed by the management team of medical and the surgical team of the hospital to enable them to provide services for the community efficiently. So they have welcomed those new equipment that we have procured and received. So we received the first batch of equipment this week, and within this month, the other equipment will be here.
Minister with responsibility for hospital and community health services, Honorable Delma Thomas. Last Monday, January 4th, the Ministry of Health welcomed 20 nurses island-wide. This also comes at a time when the ministry is working on the matter of staff regularization.
We have employed 20 new nurses, and we are in the process also of dealing with the issue of staff regularization. So issues that confront our nurse in terms of regularization. There are members of staff who were there without a contract for maybe some way back as 2009, and so we are working steadfastly to ensure that we deal with all the staff, all the human resource issues that confront the ministry, so that we can boost the morale of our staff and also provide quality services for the people of the trial and state. And this is just the start of work that we intend to do in the Ministry of Health as it relates to ensuring that we provide services not only at the General Hospital, but very soon we also, as part of the equipment, we also will have in Princess Alice Hospital. Then we have the decentralization of services, which will take place in Guave and St. David's. So these are the areas, as well as Carriacou and Princess Alice Hospital.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Grenadian javelin thrower and world champion in the event Anderson Peters and HEP athlete John A. Thomas left the state on Friday for studies in the United States. Anderson will conclude his final semester, while John A. Thomas is heading out for the first time to a junior college in South Plains, Texas. Anderson, who has been at home for some time due to the outbreak of the coronavirus, has been in training with his coach, Paul Phillip. During an interview with the GIS at Lassages Playing Field on Friday, Coach Phillip gave an update on the athlete's status.
He's on his last semester of his to complete his bachelor's degree, and some of his courses require him to be taken in person. So he'll be departing today along with Jonia Thomas, one of our outstanding heptathletes. She will be departing to an entire school at South Plains. It's a junior college in Texas. Anderson has undertaken a bachelor's in management. I think his emphasis would be sports management sometime later on, but primarily it's now about management.
He says during the time that the athletes spent in training, there were a number of sessions on coping with this period and remaining safe and healthy.
It's been a challenge even working here with COVID restrictions and so, and there's a lot of uncertainty when going into the US to actually train. Because from time to time, universities close their doors, they close their tracks so that you're restricted from training. That would be a challenge to keep up with ahead of important competitions like the Olympics for Anderson. The challenge would be to keep fit, keep strong, stay motivated, and not get discouraged or frustrated with what the conditions would be. So what we do is we really speak a lot about what is required, and I think the goals that we've set are going to be key in keeping motivated, keeping on the right track.
Johnny Thomas has represented Grenada on the regional stage and has medaled on more than one occasion at the Carifta Games. Finally, in the news, the Ministry of Agriculture and Land says applications are now being accepted for the 2021 plant distribution season. Persons interested in obtaining plants are asked to collect and submit their application forms. Applications can be submitted at the district agriculture offices at Plains St. Patrick, Pitibakai St. David, Seaton James Street, Grenville, Black Bay St. John. Also at propagation stations at Moran, Maribo, Boulogne, and Ashendon, the main office at the Botanical Gardens. Deadline for application is January 31st, 2021. Please be reminded that all COVID-19 protocols will be enforced at each location. That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, January 8th, 2021. Let's recap the top story. Government to assist families affected by recent boulder slippage in St. John. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.